Welcome back to Game Break, everybody. 2025 is looking a heck of a lot like 2024 right now for RPGs. There's a lot of them, a bunch look pretty cool, and we're not gonna have enough time to play them all. There's just too many nowadays. So knowing that, I've picked 18 RPGs from the East and West that I think look cool and fun to play in order to help you narrow down that decision. These games are listed by release date order, so let's get to it. Tales of Grace's F Remastered. I actually played this game back in the day, and I believe it's one of the strongest in the series. It has many characters I still remember fondly, and for a Tales game, that's saying something. The combat was hands down one of Tales of Grace's strongest points, and will keep you entertained throughout the game. It has a standard story, but if good combat and likable characters are enough for you, please play it. I also recall the banter and relationships between the main cast helped elevate this title above other Tales of titles, at least for me. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Continuing the story from the first game, it's set in 15th century Bohemia during a civil war. The first-person action combat has been further refined since the first game, and it has the addition of firearms. Fans loved the first game for its attempt at medieval realism, and the second game promises more of the same, with medieval experts being employed to ensure the game is as authentic to medieval life as possible. So if you want an immersive medieval experience and want to see how tough of a time people had, this game's probably for you. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2. This is the, let me count, 12th game in the Legend of Heroes series. And yes, you need to play the other 11 games to fully understand and appreciate this series' overarching story. I'm just giving it to you straight. If you jump in a random point, you're going to be so confused. With an updated dual battle system that features turn-based and action RPG battles, the combat in this series is more fun than it ever has been. If you like games that focus on character, story, and world building, this could be for you. Just be very careful about where you choose to jump in. Avowed. From Obsidian Entertainment, Avowed is a fantasy RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity universe. It can be played in either first or third-person perspective, with up to 2 companions being recruitable at a time. A lot of comparisons have been made to the Elder Scrolls series of games, but Avowed will be smaller in scope than those titles. This is intentional to allow for a more focused story. Its story is also very self-contained, so playing the Pillars of Eternity games is not a prerequisite to fully enjoy this game. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. This is a spin-off game in the Like a Dragon series featuring Goro Majima as the main character. This game goes back to the Like a Dragon action-based combat experience, which definitely fits with the outrageous premise and tone this game is going for. And of course, the trove of mini-games Like a Dragon is known for return, with classics such as Dragon Kart Racing and Karaoke coming back. And a pirate adventure would be incomplete without naval combat. So naturally, Goro Majima will lead his own ship into battle too. Monster Hunter Wilds. This game is going to make Capcom so much money. For those of you that don't know a lot about Monster Hunter, the big draw to these games is the rewarding gameplay loop of fighting monsters, getting loot, and crafting new equipment. But of course, the different ways you can approach combat, the visuals, and variety of monsters you can fight doesn't hurt its appeal either. The scale and epicness of the monster battles looks very promising in this sequel that is refining what Monster Hunter World already did so well and made it so special, while adding new ways to take down and defend against monsters. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remastered Gate Rune and Dunan Unification Wars. That title is a mouthful, but I count these 2 games amongst my most favorite of all time. Both feature fast-paced 6-person turn-based combat, one-on-one duels, and army battles. For this remaster, backgrounds have been improved, spells have been given new animations, and the translation of the game script from Japanese to English has been reworked. The original translations were full of errors. If you like the idea of over 108 recruitable characters, building your own fortress, and a rewarding political drama, play these 2 games please, they are so good. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Fans who played the original version on the Wii U have been begging Nintendo for a Switch port for years, and I'm happy to see their wish fulfilled. It's a great game. Xenoblade boasts an expansive and very pretty world to explore, with a combat system that's fun and challenging. Xenoblade Skells, the name for this game's mechs, make both exploration and combat even more enjoyable. Mechs should always make a game better, and they certainly do in this case. The Definitive Edition will offer graphical improvements and an extension to the game's ending. If you never played this for the Wii U, I highly recommend it. Lunar Remastered Collection, made way back in the early 90s for the Sega CD. Lunar the Silver Star and Lunar Eternal Blue released to great commercial and critical success. They were loved for their characters, stories, and music. The combat is a very standard turn-based affair, but if that's your jam, you will probably enjoy these two games quite well. This remaster features crisper visuals, widescreen support, new English voices, and the option to pick the original Japanese audio. Crimson Desert. Man, it seems like there's a lot going on in this game. Crimson Desert promises a very large open world to explore, meaningful quests to complete, and a variety of side activities to do. It's promising so much to gamers, it'll be interesting to see if it can pull it off. But initial previews seem promising. The combat especially seems well received. I've liked what I've seen. For example, using your sword to reflect light back into an opponent's face, stunning them temporarily, is pretty damn cool. And that's just a taste. A lot of people are keeping their eyes on this one, and rightfully so. If they pull it off, it could be something really great. It has potential. Borderlands 4. We can always count on one thing when it comes to a new Borderlands game.
Guns. Lots of guns.
I've really enjoyed the mainline Borderlands games. I've always had a vested interest in seeing how their stories played out, and along the way, I've got to experience great shooter gameplay, interesting world building, and a variety of satisfying guns to try out. Borderlands games are very fun when played with friends, but if you are a single player type of dude or gal, don't worry. They were still a great experience when I played them solo, and I bet Borderlands 4 will probably be too. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remake. Looking at Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, we can probably assume a few things about this title. Like it'll have crisp HD 2D visuals, quality of life improvements, and turn-based combat. Unlike Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, however, there won't be a job system, unless they make big changes. So it probably won't have the variety Dragon Quest 3 does. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 are classic games, but expectations should be kept in check, as Dragon Quest 3 is often regarded as one of the best games in the Dragon Quest series. However, if you have always wanted to try them, or like classic JRPGs, this will be the best time to try them. I will be. Fable. This game is being pushed as a reboot of the Fable franchise and has a new developer, Playground Games. They are famous for the Forza Horizon series, and Forza Horizon 5, their latest game, released to critical acclaim and massive sales. Pivoting to an RPG will be challenging, I'm sure, but Playground Games has a great track record so far. Based on the trailer, action combat will return, and the morality system, which was a huge part of the first 3 Fable games and could affect things such as the player character's appearance, the story, and world itself, will likely return. Playground Games want this to be an upgraded Fable experience, so here's hoping they can deliver an open-world RPG experience we can all enjoy. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky the First, a remake of the very first game in the Legend of Heroes series. This game will be the spot. This is the spot to jump into the series for the first time if you're looking for a good jumping in point. It's one of the best Legend of Heroes games and will have the updated turn-based, action-based battle system the last few Legend of Heroes games have implemented. The graphics have also been updated with a beautiful, cel-shaded art style that, in my opinion, suits this game's mood very well. Wuchang Fallen Feathers, a Souls-like action RPG set in China during 1647. A variety of weapon and spell types will be available to choose from, and the game promises a non-linear design. There are a lot of Souls-like games being made nowadays as they are extremely popular, and a bunch are upcoming, but this one in particular caught my attention with its good-looking combat and its artistic direction. Plus, I like the idea of Wuchang's setting. It takes place during an already tumultuous period of Chinese history, but now with a phenomenon that is mutating people and creating monsters. Sounds great. Pokemon Legends Z-A. Zero gameplay has been shown, but we all know it'll sell over 10 million copies. It's Pokemon, for God's sakes. It will take place in Lumio City, which was a major location in Pokemon X and Y. If Pokemon Legends Z-A is anything like the last Pokemon Legends game, it'll have Lumio City fully explorable while you hunt Pokemon within the city and its surrounding area. What I'm saying is pure guesswork, but since they kept the Legends title, playing similar to its predecessor seems likely. Hopefully, Pow World's arrival on the gaming scene will push Game Freak to be a little more competitive with its product, as I know Pokemon fans have been frustrated with Pokemon's quality for a while now. Sea of Stars Throes of the Watchmaker DLC. Sea of Stars was a good throwback RPG that was heavily inspired by the great Chrono Trigger. It was full of friggin' great visuals, nice music, and enjoyable combat. Throes of the Watchmaker is the promised Kickstarter DLC stretch goal and will feature a new scenario, playable character, and new classes for the main protagonists. So if you liked Sea of Stars, this is for you. Chained Echoes Ashes of Elrant DLC. I love this game, and any DLC for it is a must-play for me, day one. It's a game too few people have played, and it's a damn shame. I think its world building, story, music, and game design are awesome. Featuring a new story, recruitable character, music, and minigames, Ashes of Elrant is hopefully going to add more to an already excellent RPG. If you haven't played the main game yet, please go do that. So there's 18 RPGs coming out in 2025, and I know there's probably 18 more that aren't on this list. So if you have any other recommendations, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.